Happy New Year, everyone! Hey guys, Feuerrm here, and today I'm going to be testing the Vanda Electrics Dendrobium in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. Now, this is a car that I do not actually have. I did not get it when the packs came out for it previously, but now we have a season. It is an unlimited one that we've had in the past with the Senna and the ZR1 pretty recently, and it's the kind of season where everybody has the exact same car, and it is pretty much completely skill-based, except those few times when somebody 360s you, and it's annoying, and which is one reason why I did like the Ghost season. I thought it would be pretty cool if they created a Ghost unlimited season with only one car, because I think that would be like the ultimate skill-based season. Now, the thing is, a lot of people might not like that because they think it is more skill-based to have to race other people and fight them and stuff like that. And to a point, yes. And I would say that a good middle ground would probably be to avoid knockdowns only, but still be able to push people around. I think that would be a pretty good middle ground, so sort of like an unbreakable, unlimited season. I think that would be really cool. So, what do I think about the Vanda? I think it is definitely one of the most fun cars to drive in the game, and I do truly mean that. It feels like driving the Corvette GS, but it does have one aspect that only one other car in the game, the Nissan Leaf, has. Its different nitros actually give different speeds. Its perfect nitro is the fastest at 225 miles per hour, and the other nitro types give it various lower speeds. A lot of people don't like this aspect, but I just think it requires more skill. In that race, I got the 14-17 rating to number 2 on the leaderboard, just 13 rating behind the number 1 guy, who I managed to come against in the next race. So I knew if I won this one, I would probably go up about 7 and he'd go down 7, which would put me exactly 1 rating above him. So I was thinking, I could very well get another top 1 in this season, but he pushed me onto the long way here, thus forcing me to get behind him a little bit, but not all was lost. I knew I could possibly catch up to him at points on the track, but I also knew he got to number 1 in this season, and that requires a lot of skill, because it really does in these seasons. And that is why I try so hard in these ones and not in the rush seasons, because I feel that all of the practice that I've put into learning this game really pays off in these seasons, and it allows me to go up against people with the same sorts of skill level and things like that. It's just a lot of fun. Here, I go under him instead of 316 like him, but then he lands on me and knocks me down. What awful timing, I know, right? Yeah, this is the kind of thing that tends to happen to me more often than I'd like to admit, where I'm so close to reaching a point, but then something terrible happens and I don't actually end up reaching it. So, needless to say, I lose this race and lose some rating, and he gains some, and so I'm even more behind than I was before. 12 rating behind to be exact, so now it's up to 25. And I was never actually able to make that up. So just like in the Senna season, my highest position in this season was number 2, which is of course not bad at all. So now we are getting into some of the best races that I had in between that point and reaching Master League. Because in these seasons, by far, the hardest stretch is going from 1400 to 1500. So many times, including this season, I have been stuck around 1450-ish for like, I don't even know how many races, probably a few dozen, because it's all kind of roller coastery and topsy-turvy, and that was the biggest point of my roller coaster song. Just multiplayer being composed of a lot of ups and downs. Most of the races that I lost a lot of rating in were because of either my own stupidity, which did happen occasionally, or bad driving, or somebody knocking me down, and yeah. That has probably happened to pretty much everybody in this season, just getting knocked down. You know what's weird? I found that I have streaks of good races, and then streaks of bad races, and then streaks of good ones. It's not just a constant, like, up, down, like you might expect. It's like you go up 50, and then you go down 50, and then you go up 50. Thankfully, it's a slight upward trend, as you could see in some of these races, which were very close, but I managed to win a lot of them. And yeah, there were times when I had a streak of like 7 good races where I went up a good amount of rating, and then before that I had a streak of like 4 bad races where I got physics or knocked down in all of them and went down like 50 rating. It's a very crazy season. It's a lot of fun. I don't hold it against the people who knocked me down. I just try to have fun in these seasons because that ultimately is what we are doing in this game, trying to have fun. And speaking of fun, Well, the Rimac event isn't necessarily fun per se because it is a lot of grinding. However, it is a lot better than the Jesco event, and I really can't stress this enough because it's quite important, and I want to tell you guys why exactly. And I might even make another special video about this because I made that video talking so badly about the Jesco event. Because the Rimac event is so much better and fixed so many of the problems, I feel it would only be fair if I made another video talking about the good things about it. Obviously, there were some bad things as well. Being very grindy, having the hazard thingies take 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes, that was a bad change. But overall, it's pretty good, and I'm going to talk a bit about that in the next race. Here we come in first, just barely, after passing that guy close to the end of the race. So I'm sure there's going to be those few people that just think I'm saying good things about the Rimac event because I'm sort of a part of it. But no, that's not the case at all. Even if I weren't, I would still say it's better, and let me explain why exactly I say that. So I'm currently in Regnant Octopus 3, almost done with it, almost into Regnant Octopus 4, and I think I should be able to unlock the Rimac without buying any more of the relay packs. It'll be a little bit close. I might have to buy the third one, but even so, that would just be another 1,000 tokens. The point is, you only have to spend like 1,500 or possibly 2,500 tokens in order to unlock the Rimac at 3 stars. And with that, you also 3-star the Mazda Furai, the Shelby GR1, the Ital Design Zero Uno, and the Corvette ZR1. And the Furai is actually a king of D-Class. So 5 3-star cars, many of which are very good, for just 1,500 tokens. And the Rimac is the second best car in the game, worse than the Jesco for sure, but a bit better than the Bugatti. And if you choose to buy the 2 other relay packs for 3,500, so totaling 5,000 tokens spent on the event, you can probably max the Furai and probably 4-star one of the other cars as well, possibly the ZR1. I think the Hot Dog 1 said he did that. So compared to having to spend 20,000 tokens to just unlock the Jesco at 2 stars, or even 12,000 tokens to 4-star the Bugatti Chiron, 1,500 tokens for a 3-star second best car in the game is actually fairly generous. And of course, if you get worse luck and you have to buy even both of the other relay packs, that's still 5,000 for all 5 of those cars. So you may be wondering, well, if it's so cheap to get all of these cars, why aren't more people going through the event quickly? Well, there is another hidden little thing in the event that you do pretty much have to spend tokens for unless you want to go through it really slow. And that is tokens for refilling the hazard levels, because they refill very slowly and you pretty much have to go through hazard level 3. So this means, and I have done this, you're going to be spending 50 tokens every so often to refill those, unless you want to go through the event slowly, which I think a lot of people may be doing, but that is something to keep in mind as you go through it. Another thing is that the event seems to be a bit more skill-based in terms of the times themselves being harder to beat. There is one with the Rimac on one of the Shanghai tracks that is hunted that I consistently get to the end with about 1 second to spare, and that's with a fully upgraded 2-star Rimac. So it is not an easy event in that regard either, but there is one more thing, and this is likely the kicker for a lot of people. It simply takes so much time to go through. Now, a lot of people are currently on holiday. I know that. I am, so that is why I've been able to go through it as quickly as I have. But you have to play so many races over and over again, the same ones, and the pinned ones as well. Now, thankfully, those are all money runs, so it is a bit better than it was in the Jesco event where a lot of them weren't money runs, and sometimes you wouldn't get very many Syndicate coins at all. So the point of all this is that the Godly Beast event is extremely non-token heavy, but it is very time heavy and somewhat skill heavy as well. Unlike the Jesco event, which was basically completely based on how many tokens you had, and I spent 15,000 on it and didn't get the car. Oh, and one other thing I want to mention about the Rimac event that makes it better than the Jesco event is that the packs have improved greatly. It is now normal, like the 10 times packs give you 1 guaranteed one. That's not quite the 3 times that you get in the other packs, but they're still somewhat reasonably priced for how many Syndicate coins they actually give you. So I would say on this one, thank you Gameloft for giving us something that at least more people can actually complete if they have the time and the skill to do it. And for me, That's a lot better than having to pay 20,000 tokens, and I'm sure that most of you would say the same thing. So, now it is time for my general review about this car. I'm not exactly sure where it fits in its class, however it is probably pretty close to the top due to its very good agility, but I would say its biggest strength is in multiplayer, and probably if it becomes readily available, people will use it a lot like they do the Corvette now. It doesn't have any really weak points, maybe a slightly lower than average top speed, but overall it is a very well-rounded car. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that you should try to stay in perfect nitro all the time as much as you can to keep the highest speed. And in this race, we finally reached Master League. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt, Forza, Minecraft, and Need for Speed Heat content. I will see you in my next video. Happy New Year, and goodbye!